we're passing all of the Porsche numbers. 917, in just a moment there's 918, and we are rapidly heading towards the 200,000 mile finish line on this car. It's been a blast. So I've been driving it all weekend, all through Arkansas, absolutely ripping. The Boxster's so good at this, and we had just an insane amount of fun. We did all the mountain climbs, we went hiking, you know, we did everything but pig trail for the most part. Had a great time, and now we are on the way home, and I am about to roll over the 200,000 mile mark for sure. So I'm gonna set cruise and let this thing roll on back to Wichita, and then I guess it's time to sell it. What are you supposed to do after you hit 200,000 miles on one? You can't keep it. Actually, I just bought it for the event, but you guys know how it is. It's time to move on. We fixed everything. But we're gonna do one more thing in this video too. We're gonna finish fixing it. There's just one last touch. You already know what it is. We've talked about it plenty. And that's gotta get done on this car too. What is going on, guys? I am WatchJRGo, and like I said in the intro, you guys have seen all these miles flying by, but now it's time to show you the money shot. Here is 200,000 miles. Here we go. We are at 199,986 as the sun sets here in Kansas. It has been a very long drive home, so we're getting close. Obviously, we still have 30-ish miles to go, but here in just a second, we're gonna roll over the 199,987. So I wanted you guys to, there it is. I wanted you to join in on the fun as we hit it. All right, I will be back with you guys here in about 3 miles so we can hit 991, 4 miles. Helps if you can do math. But until then, we're just gonna watch this sunset. Here we are again, seconds later, 199,990, about to roll over the 1. The sun's still not down yet, but we're staying focused on the gauges for the payoff here. Just Porsche numbers all day. You know, everything they ever did pretty much starts with a 9, doesn't it? They are obsessed. Hey, there it is. And it's very cool because it's a mirrored number, 199,991. Super cool. Too bad I wasn't going 19 miles per hour. What we've all been waiting for from the beginning of me buying this car back, and maybe even when I owned it originally, everybody was waiting to see this roll over the actual 200,000 mile mark. So there is 199,999. And here in a little less than 1 minute, based on the math, we're gonna see the 200,000. And the sun is just about 100% gone in the distance here. But I'm gonna leave you guys down here on the gauges so you can watch the magic happen again. So we hit all the cool Porsche numbers, a lot of cool mileages today, and honestly, a killer trip with 1,000 miles of back roads, just this car just ripping through them like it's a brand new car. And quite a few people drove it. I got to meet the second owner, and of course, Enthusiast Auto Sales was at the event, who's technically the third owner, but they're a dealership, so they don't count. Ah, 200,000 miles, look at that! Incredible. So basically this car's entire lineage was in one place at one time, and 1 day later it hit 200,000 miles for real. Todd was telling me all kinds of stories from back when he owned this car. It's just an absolute gem, and he actually wants it back, so it might be going back to the second owner after the event. I guess we'll find out. But for the last couple of seconds here, let's look at the 200,000 miles. Just about to roll over the 200,001, and the next time it'll be this exciting is when it hits 300,000. There you go. So many of you might be asking, what kind of maintenance do you have to do when you hit 200,000 miles in a Porsche? And it's very simple. We did it all last week. You just change plugs, coils, oil, all the filters, pretty much everything, right? We kind of went through a full tune-up on this car. And there was one thing left that I couldn't do before I left, and it broke my heart that it's not done yet. That is painting this trim right here, because that will completely change the look of the car. So I'm here with Gabe, And he and I are going to mask this car off right now. So here's my plan for masking it, right? We're gonna open this thing up. We need to mask, you know, the window. Honestly, it's black, right? So the black will get overspray all over the white. Oh, yeah. Super visible. So my game plan is to crack the top, and then we'll just cover everything we can with the plastic, close the top, close the door, and with the top back down, right? We'll close the door and that will seal up all of that. And then we'll just lay a piece of plastic over all of this. And then we'll put a piece of plastic over the top. And then like with 3 pieces of plastic, hopefully we've masked off this whole car. That's the game plan. Get the old top open. There we go. That's plenty. All right, let's shove some plastic through the entire front end. How sharp's your knife? I don't think my knife's sharp enough to cut that roll.
Bro, it's sharp.
Okay.
You know it.
All right. Gabe's extremely sharp knife, making this easy over here. And we tried to get enough plastic to go all the way to the floor. All right. I like that. I thought about just covering this with like newspaper, but I'm so glad we had this left over from the house build. There we go, that's better. No overspray on the white. Plus I have to go like detail this car after this. It's still covered in bugs from cranking through another 2,000 miles. All right, I'm gonna close the top now. Wait, we should actually, let's bring this back to here, right? That way we cover the door in its entirety. That's the plan.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna do another one.
No, I don't think we need another one, although we are gonna put more here. Master Taper Gabe at work here. So this was kind of my plies. We'd shove tape back in, and it seems like it's working pretty well. Master Taper Gabe is at work over here, getting the tape slid down into the channels around the top to make sure we don't get any overspray on the top. And then once we get that first layer of tape in the channel, we're gonna mask off the entire top. And then you guys can see our plan here worked really well. So we pulled our plastic all the way back to here, closed the top, and the windows indexed, and perfectly masked off everything for us. So we are gonna have to put like a little tape on that rubber, but that's about it. And then of course tape over there, cover the top, and this thing is masked that quickly. So we'll have like a skirt that hangs down and make sure we don't get any paint on any of that. But
skirt, skirt.
Skirt, skirt. It's almost time. This is a little rough, so I'm gonna sand it off just to knock the edges off the black so hopefully you don't see anything there. And then this almost seems like it's plastic. Kind of interesting. I think it is. I think this is a plastic piece and that's metal. So maybe we don't even paint all the way down. What are you thinking? Should we check it with a magnet? I kind of think we're only painting this now. Let me get the magnet.
They're both metal.
You think they're both metal?
Yep.
They're probably aluminium. If they're both metal, we're painting them both. But then again, yeah, the magnet doesn't stick either way. This just sounds quite a bit different. Oh, look at that, it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, you nailed it.
I made this myself. I made shake and bake and I helped.
The only thing that's gonna be tough when we paint is like getting that little, I guess we have to lift that carefully. We'll have to like lift with a straw or something and then paint right in there.
Yeah.
Just to make sure it gets it all. Oh, and then on the other side, we have more seal showing. Interesting. Speaking of satin paint, guys, if you want to know what we're using, this is the fix for everything. I've talked about it many times on the channel before. If you're doing wiper arms, trim like this convertible top, duplicolor, trim, and bumper paint, this stuff is insane. I know it says excellent adhesion, they aren't kidding. We wipe stuff down. I think this is a self-leveling paint too. Renews the factory OEM finish on weathered, faded, discolored automotive trim and bumpers. Bonds directly to plastic and metal with a smooth finish. Anyway, this stuff, like they said, finishes out very, very well. And it is the magic we're gonna use on this because it's like $7, so you can fix something like this and it'll look like the factory did it.
Just come up with all that. Oh, you were reading.
Yeah, I actually.
Oh, my bad.
No, I just made
I thought you like had, I was gonna be impressed for a second.
I'm not that obsessed with this paint.
Dude,
I'm obsessed with this paint, but not that obsessed with it. This is my go-to for everything black on a car. It works so well, and it finishes out like this. So it's gonna look great. Like I said, we want this to be very even, and there's quite the transition from the metal back to the factory paint right there. So we've got a little bit of 220 sandpaper. I'm gonna go ahead and hit this real quick, just to knock the edges off. Just about all the sanding we're gonna do right there. There's no more rough transition into the paint. Well, after a couple seconds of sanding with the 220, we knocked the edges off of everything. Nice and smooth. I know, that's actually a little shinier than I wanted from the aluminum there, but that's gonna look great. So Gabe's finishing up the mask over here, and we're ready to throw the plastic over the top of the car.
Conditions are perfect.
Conditions are perfect. I know, you had to downsize the tape game, huh?
Just a little bit.
Because we are running out.
We're all about conserving.
Truly running out of tape, but I couldn't find the other rolls. I know we've got green and orange and everything here, and I can't find a single one.
All the colors.
Happens. Ooh, look at that. A lot of paint, or prep went into this. We have sanded, wiped everything down with alcohol. We are ready to spray. Gabe's finishing up the last. You're just making smiley faces, okay. I guess it's art. Wear that.
I will.
People would have thoughts if you wore that out in public.
You know what, I will. I want to see what their thoughts are.
Same.
Maybe they're sparkling thoughts, giving them the hope to go on.
It could be. It could be.
All I need is a little bit of shelter.
Well, I guess we need one little piece of plastic still.
Yeah, throw that on there.
And we're ready to rock. This side's all finished up. A lot of sanding to smooth down every single edge. This did take 30 minutes to get ready for 3 seconds of paint, but we're gonna do 2 layers too, right? I'm gonna hit it with 2 coats.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Nobody wants this being done again in like a year, so we're going.
Honestly, prep is always the most important thing.
It is.
It always takes forever, and you always hate yourself, but then when it comes out and you don't have any other cleanup to do,
That is it, right? I always assume painting should take longer than the prep, but that's not really how it works out.
that is definitely not how it works out.
Dude, it's not that serious.
If you shake that aggressively, you don't have to do 2 minutes, right?
I don't think I've ever looked at it that way.
That's why I shake.
Is it the
That's why I
effort?
shake spray paint so hard.
So it's really not the time, it's the effort that you go in.
Cool.
Oh man, you got all that overspray all over everything.
It's all over my lawnmower.
It's on the lawnmower.
No. Not my lawnmower.
2x4.
That's continuously covered in grass.
All right, let's see where we're going here.
I should have continued my stripe. This is my favorite paint in the world. It lays down so nice. I do need a little bit on top, but that's it. Like, that coat's ready to dry. We're not gonna go heavy at all, but I should do a little up and a little. There we go. Now we're looking good. All right, off to the other side. I might try. I'm gonna try to get high first.
Don't do that's not. This is a family show, dude.
This kind of high.
Okay.
Come on now. That's about as light as I could make the coats. No silver on this side at all. Perfect. We need to give it a little time, but I think this is good. Obviously I've got more over there where the metal is smoother. This still has the factory texture, but we'll give it, how long? 8 to 10 inches, 2 to 3 light to medium coats, 1 heavy coat, 10 minutes between coats. We'll be back at 12:39. There we go. I can't wait for you guys to see this with the trim unmasked here, because these look the same. Now these have texture, and the texture luckily stays with this paint, which is very, very cool. But you can see we've got this deep satin look right there. It's been 30 minutes since the last coat, so I'd say it's time to unmask this thing and for us to see the magic. Check that out. All right. So obviously, like, you can still see like a little bit of a transition, but that far away, it looks completely factory. So I'm actually not even sure where to start unmasking this. I think our last pieces of tape were down here. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw you guys on a time lapse, and we're gonna pull this back off. And I can't wait to show you guys the finished product here. So let's get to it. Finished product. What a difference that makes. It looks like a new car. So there's the factory trim right there with the black paint. There's the black paint we just did. So we have completely transformed the Boxster back into the car. It needed to be before Porsche Palooza, before we hit 200,000 miles. But I'm gonna say it is looking very good now. I do have to open the doors back up. We have to get this thing all vacuumed out, wiped down after the trip. She's a little bit dirty, but the paint job's done. We're at 200,062 miles now, because this car has been on a mission. This morning, a guy bought an old air compressor from me that I had never used. It was like a brand new 12-volt air compressor, and since I have all the rechargeable ones, I took him the air compressor. And he was at a gas station that was pretty close, and he asked if I could bring it. Now, normally I wouldn't deliver anything for a marketplace deal, but this time I was like, fine, you know what? This thing's gonna be hard to sell. I was only asking $20 for it. I'll bring you the air compressor. He said he was at a gas station. And I was like, if he's at a gas station, they have an air compressor. If he's stuck there, like, why wouldn't he just use theirs? I figured it was kind of a scam, right? But it wasn't a scam. The compressor at the gas station was broke. So he had done everything he could, and he had actually jacked up the car that the tire went flat on, pulled the wheel off, and was trying to get the tire back on the bead. Now, this little air compressor probably could have done it, but he had already filled it with slime too, so the little air compressor threw a fit. Luckily, in the front of this, speaking of, we gotta empty this thing out. Let's go ahead and open every compartment up. Let's check the trunk. It's probably empty. Good deal. Trunk's empty. Also, while we're in the trunk, speaking of that, this is a very long story. The oil check just ran, and it said it was exactly at where I left about, you know, a little over 1,000 miles ago. So it hasn't consumed any oil according to the gauge, which is very awesome. So that's that. Back to cleaning out the trunks, and then back to the story. But in the front of this thing, since we were going on a trip, I put my air compressor in there. I knew it was gonna get cold. It got very cold. We got down to like 40-degree mornings from 70. I knew we might need to check the tires on that trip to Arkansas, so I brought my air compressor, the Fanatic. And that thing is a champ. I take it everywhere with me. Anyway, I still had it in the front, right? I go sell this guy an air compressor. He tries to use that little 12-volt compressor to rebead that tire. I was like, man, I don't know if it's gonna do it. Look, I've got my other air compressor here too, and he had already bought the little one. I was like, let me help you. So we did exactly that. We hooked up that air compressor to his tire that needed to be put back on the bead, and it did it no problem. So we got his tire put back on the bead. As many of you that have done these roadside tire repairs will attest to, was too low. He couldn't put the wheel back on once it was aired up. And since it was off the bead, obviously we didn't want to break the bead again, get the car all the way back down on the ground. So we had to do a little bit of shenanigans there. He had just enough room for me to get the spare, one of those space saver spares, up onto the lug nuts. So I got it onto the lug nuts, but at an angle like this, and I was like, we're gonna snug up the lug nuts. You're gonna let the car down. It'll sit on the wheel and the lug nuts. We're gonna move the jack, then we'll jack your car back up from the control arm, and we'll get your tire back on your car. So through a combination of all of that work, I was able to get his tire back on the bead, wheel back on the car, and everything aired up, and sold my air compressor. So I had to use this as the work truck for the morning, and it pulled off its duties just fine. This car is a champ. And we got that guy back on the road. And honestly, for a $20 air compressor he gets to take with him, that's a pretty cheap roadside assistance call right there. Anyway, that is the 200,000 mile Porsche, finally refinished. There's one more thing I need to do to it. What is it? I know I had one more thing on the list. It was paint the trim and do something else. But you know what? Maybe it was just detail it. I kind of think that might have been the last thing this needed. It was, oh, I wanted to check the oil, so we did that. And it would be nice to go detail it, but I think we should give that paint a solid day to set up before we go start scrubbing on this car. So anyway, another Porsche Palooza down. This thing, absolute champion. It was so great to drive, and a lot of people came to see it, I guess. We had a whole meeting over by this car at Porsche Palooza, and there was another guy there with a Cayman with 221,000 miles on it. So somebody needs to drive this for like a year or 20 solid days to get it to that same mileage. You want to be, at this point, you might as well run it up to be the highest mileage Porsche Boxster in the world. Anyway, that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to head on over to shop.watchjrgo.com for cool shirts just like this. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, and I will talk to you next time. I remembered it was rebuild the windshield. There was a chip right there, and that chip is now gone. I'll show you guys on the inside here. Take a look at that. I know it's tough to see, but you are focused on it, and it was a very obvious little bullseye before, and now she is gone. Now it's time to get the Porsche back outside and let that cure in the sun while we have a little bit of sunlight left. It sure doesn't feel like there's any sunlight though. It is freezing outside.
Gone.
Don't throw it down. If you throw it down.
This one I think you can do.
Watch there be an easier path down.
Yeah, I think there is.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk like 10 feet over that way and take like the easy route.
But get the video. They have like.
Oh, I am.
Steps. Okay. See?
Hey!
No big deal.
All right, just scaled down this tree here from up above to this epic place to camp. This is so sick. So sick. The balancing rocks. Hey, you found it. Turns out you can just walk down. You don't have to.
Yep, there's just built-in steps.
Who knew? You don't have to risk your life or anything. Oh man, that was stuff we just jumped down. Cool.
Yeah, there's actually a net.
That's my favorite. I love a good trampoline. Look what I found in the wild, guys. There's one alive and well in Arkansas. A beautiful Murano cross cab on like 20s too. Cross climate. Somebody cares. Somebody really loves their cross cab.